Hello, dear colleagues. We are ready to start our expert talk today. The topic is Q-commerce, what is behind the scene. And we will do it together with my colleague, Fatih. But I will introduce myself and he will introduce himself after. My name is Gregory, surname is Schepanik. So I'm 20 years already doing some software implementation for different spheres. And from 2015, it's projects for e-commerce and retail and logistics. And now we are presented in Saudi. We are Odoo official partner in KSA. And so we are doing a lot on Odoo, and as well we are doing websites and mobile apps development, and we have some AI development. So everything what is needed for Q-commerce actually. And I will share some of our experience this time. And Fatih, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Fatih Yoruk, and like my colleague, I've been involved in e-commerce for the past 10 years. My most recent experience was with Snoonu, which is a marketplace in Qatar, which delivers F&B, food and beverages, as well as like grocery vendors on the platform itself. I launched Snoonu's Q-commerce platform back in 2020, which we called Snoomart later on, as well as their fulfillment vertical itself, where we gave fulfillment operations, fulfillment for other e-commerce websites, etc. as well. And I implemented many omni-channel e-commerce projects, both in Qatar as well as in Turkey itself. So I'm glad to be here, and hopefully we can share some insight to the sector itself.
Okay, great. Let's start with some general information about Q-commerce. Now it's the biggest growing retail trend. It started actually with COVID 3 years ago. And now in the Middle East, especially this commerce is one of the fastest growing businesses in general. Now the value is estimated as $75 billion. And it will increase to over $75 billion worldwide in the next 2 years. It's some assumptions which are calculated and can be found in the internet, but we can see it every day that the sphere is growing. And in MENA region, it's expected to grow to 20 billion next year. And by 2030, 78% of businesses will have adopted the last mile delivery model, again, according to different researches. Fatih, maybe add here something of your...
So like actually, like you mentioned, like after COVID, there are like many companies who popped up, of course, in the region as well as like worldwide. There are like several examples. In Turkey, there's Getir, which expanded their business in Europe as well. There's Gorillas. I think they were operating in Europe as well, especially in the MENA region. Like even in Qatar, for example, there are several players who are operating in the Q-commerce sector itself. There's Snoonu, there's Talabat, there's Rafiq, and there are other upcoming companies who are getting in touch with Q-commerce as well. So it's pretty trendy for the past 2 years, especially. I'm sure in Europe, especially, there are many other companies that are getting started in the Q-commerce sector itself. But there are a lot of examples that the companies are even delivering within 10 minutes itself, like Getir in Turkey.
Yeah, and now what I can say that these companies, most of them started during last 3-5 years. They now face a lot of challenges related to the software and to the operations effectiveness. And actually, not all of them are really earning money because there are a lot of investment projects. But now they're trying to change to the profitable companies. And that's something what also we will talk about, what is needed to be profitable company in Q-commerce. So challenges, we will talk like case by case. we will finish approximately in half an hour. So of course, not all possible cases we will discuss today. So, but let's start with the most important or the most frequent. Assortment management, warehouse management, delivery management, geo-zone selecting, and loyalty. That's what we will talk about today. And let's start with assortment management challenges. I will add about importance of data and software, but Fatih, please start maybe with few cases, how you manage the assortment.
So in my experience itself, we opened more than 5 dark stores in Qatar itself with Snunu, and I launched their Q-commerce vertical itself. So essentially, like worldwide, if you think about it, roughly players are trying to maintain around 2,000 SKUs itself, like 2,000 to 3,000 SKUs. So in our first year, like if I can share one case we faced, especially regarding a challenge of assortment management, when we were trying to maintain 3,000 SKUs itself, they were like in the system itself, we were maintaining more than 15,000 SKUs, and we were carefully selecting each product and based on their category, subcategory, etc. So since we were operating in a dark store model itself, our dark stores were roughly 300 square meter itself. Like they were not very big stores if you compare to the traditional brick and mortar retail or grocery shops itself. So one of the challenges we faced, we were trying to maintain 5,000 different SKUs in one of our dark stores where we had only 300 square meter available space. And because of the poor management, we can say in the first few months, we couldn't utilize our space properly. So we overstocked some items that were not moving very well. And this is where we started engaging with more data to be able to analyze like product-based performance, SKU-based performance, inventory aging, expiry dates, out of stock reports. We utilize all these reporting capabilities to be able to determine the individual SKU performance itself. And of course, like since we were trying to create more space for the dark store for new items or more important items, we had to return some underperforming products back to the supplier or make some additional campaigns to get rid of the excess stock we had. So of course, like assortment management is a very important part of the business, and I'm sure you have more insights you can give us in terms of how you guys solved it in other projects you faced.
Yeah, usually very important is to have all needed data and to create the correct reports and to use some of them daily, some of them weekly, to see the data about the sales, about the actual inventory and so on. So we are using Odoo platform as the basis, as the ERP solution. Odoo has a lot of possibilities to manage the assortment, to have all information about the products, about the stock and so on. As well, we did a lot of own development to make specific reports or specific parameters in the system and so on. And we can customize always the system for the exact needs. It's from the software point of view. And very important is to involve our guys. Usually we do it like consultancy during the project, also to analyze assortment, because we can see something which because of some reasons are not visible, or maybe is not changed inside the company. We quite often face that, and when we are starting asking questions, then something is changing because people are not paying attention because they're busy or something else, or they didn't see some data and so on. So in assortment management, if we're talking about the Q-commerce, very important is to find that balance between the widths, the number of SKU, SKUs, and the sales, actually, how many of SKU you should have in general, and how many of each item you should have also in the stock. All of that is very important to understand, to make purchases, and to play with assortment, and to see how you will be effective.
So if I can add on a little bit to how we solved our problem back in the day, we analyzed specifically average daily sales, maximum daily sales, supplier lead times to be able to determine the safety stock levels of each SKU itself. And we had other parameters for other categories, and we were basically analyzing and grading each product based on their performance. And we were trying to, we usually maintain 3 levels of performance: A level, B level, C level. And we were trying to make sure A-level products were available 100% of the time, which were the most important key SKUs in our portfolio itself.
Yeah, just wanted to add as the summary that assortment is very important. In each case, there are differences. There are different situations with suppliers, with products, etc. But the key to the correct assortment management is the correct software and correct using of the software, having all the data online and so on. That's really the key to effectiveness of the assortment management. So here we can help with that, definitely. If you need some help here, please contact us. Of course, if you have any other questions or need any other solutions or just recommendations, please don't hesitate to contact us. Let's move to the next challengers, because we can do separate webinar maybe about only assortment management. But now we have some overview webinar. So for warehouse management, the problems which we usually face is the picking speed. And let's start with this. I will give some examples, and Fatih will add from his experience. So usually we have like 2 minutes maximum for the order for the picking. Of course, it depends number of items in the order and so on. It could be less. So we do the correct, let's say, time for each operation. We set in the system controls that. But what is important to achieve high speed of picking, it's correct warehouse topology and also usage of scanners. When the picker is not thinking, he's just looking on the scanner and knows exactly where to go, what to take. And topology means that all the goods are correctly stored in the warehouse, so the pickers are doing minimum kilometers per day because everything is optimized. So that's also, it's based on the system, on the algorithm which is in the system. So here, people are just collecting, because when they start thinking, searching for some products, they waste time. So Fatih, please add from yourself maybe something.
So especially in the first days when we first entered the Q-commerce sector, our picking time was more than 10 minutes, to be honest, like the first 2-3 months. And to be able to solve that, what we did was we optimized the warehousing of the products itself, and the layout, especially of the products itself. So we, based on the sales performance of the SKU itself, we positioned in a way where frequently ordered products were close together. So when the picker was picking one item, it wasn't so far for him or her to pick the other item itself. And by this logic itself, we reduced the picking time by 80%, which helped our picking outbounding operations itself. But there are other problems as well, like in the warehouse management. I'm sure we will go through them, like the storage condition of the product, storing products effectively, maintaining the first in, first out, especially for near expiry items, or the fresh items, we can say. So I'm sure we can move forward with the other challenges.
Yeah, let's go step by step. We can discuss like exact cases, what can be done in this or that case. So next point here is absence of some goods in the delivered orders. Actually, that's one of the biggest problems for Q-commerce, because on the dark store you cannot have a lot of items of each SKU. So because they're small, it's like it could be 150 meters, maybe 200 meters, depends. But most usually it's not big square for the dark store. So we faced in our project that the customer complained that they order more, for instance, that is available in the dark store, or something even could be unavailable at all, but they know it only after the picker is starting to collect. So to avoid that, we need to have online stock available in the system. That is achievable using the software and the scanners, everything. So we always know what is available on the stock, in which shelf, and to show to the customer also that information on the mobile app, the maximum number what he can order from this dark store. Or in case he would like to order more and more quantity is available in another dark store, then to switch the dark stores from which will be delivery done. So again, everything is based on the algorithms in the system, but the customer in this case will be loyal because he can see what he can order, because all that situations when something is not delivered is frustrating the customer, and they're not happy and they're changing to another provider and so on.
Yeah.
So Fatih, did you have such situations?
Yeah, if I can add on, yeah, we had the similar issue when we first started as well. Like inventory levels were not accurately reflecting on the front end app itself, and initially the syncing between inventory levels in our system was every hour there was an inventory sync. But of course, like when the orders are low, it's not, you don't really feel like it's a big problem. But as the orders grow, as there are more products getting ordered and the product sales are better than before, this started becoming an issue. So we had to switch our system entirely to be able to make the real-time sync between the front-end app and the warehouse management system entirely. So we were able to reflect the inventory levels more accurately to the customers, which kind of eliminated the out-of-stock issue for the orders.
And I will add here that Q-commerce is working not only in dark stores. The brick and mortar retail can also start the e-commerce platform. And in this case, for the retailers, the problem could be that somebody can buy goods offline, but still they're available online. And here again, the integration is very important. The speed of the data exchange and update is very important, because if somebody is taking the last item from the shelf in the store, it should immediately be disabled on the front for the e-commerce platform. So again, it's the matter of the software, first of all. And here, we also recommend to use some minimum quantity available on the stock for e-commerce. Let's say when it's less than 2 pieces, stop selling it on e-commerce, because 2 orders can come at the same moment and so on. Okay, let's go next to scrap. For the fresh categories, it's a big problem. Also for the products with short expiry dates. It's very important to control what exactly is delivered to the customer, because you can have the same product with two, for instance, items with two different expiry dates. So first should be sold always the item with less time to the expiry. And again, in this case, the system should control it and should show to the picker what exactly he should take. And that information should get to the system as well during the inbound operation when the supplier is bringing the products. So using the scanner, the picker should also add the expiry date of the whole delivery, or of the part of the delivery if they have different expiry date. So it should be created in the system. Then based on a FIFO method, the system will also control what is delivered in which exact order.
So in terms of how I specifically handled the system, maybe it could be because of trust issues as well, but we made a system that enabled the system automatically scrap near expiry products itself. So the customers wouldn't be able to order that specific set of products itself. So for example, now we're in July, and we have a product that is going to expire in next month. So we would put a specific threshold against that batch of products itself. So when it reaches that specific threshold, like we can mention it like minus 30 days, right? So if it's 30 days or less, the system would automatically decide, okay, this product is not in a sellable condition. So it would automatically scrap or remove the inventory from the system to another location, which would enable the customers to order that specific product. So that's how we solved it, because we were not sure if the warehouse coordinators at the time were accurately looking after the expiry dates of each batch, even though they were following the FIFO method as per the SOPs. So we try to automate that process in that way, especially like in the fresh products, which we only maintained them less than 3 days. When it came to the near expiry date, we would automatically remove it from the system, so the customers would not be able to order it.
Yeah, exactly. Or sometimes you can do the promo or something like that for the products with near expiry date, just make discount. And those also should be controlled by the system, and automatically the promo can be created, and even some push message can be sent to the customers, which usually can buy the discounted products. Okay, and we can also talk about frozen or chilled products. Usually we recommend to put the chillers near the exit to avoid situation where the picker is taking the frozen products first. So he should take it on the way back when he collected already most of the order. And also there are important things like, for instance, with water, sweet water or something like that, when on the warehouse can be some zone without chiller and zone for the products which should be delivered. So system should control that these bottles are moved from the standard zone, from the shelf to the chiller in correct time. So the customer always will get the cold water, which will make him happy because he will order next time again. So that's also some interesting hints how to increase the loyalty of the customers and profitability of the business. Okay, so if nothing to add here, we can go further. We don't have too much time left. Let's talk about delivery. So, Fatih, maybe start, because again, I will talk about software point of view here.
Okay. In my experience itself, we have many different drivers catering the delivery of the products itself. So there were part-time drivers, full-time drivers, freelance drivers itself. And these drivers were occasionally maintaining cash itself. So we had the cash on delivery option where the customers were able to pay in cash to the driver itself. And I will talk about the specific case we faced there and like how we solved it itself as well. So we did not want the drivers to maintain a high amount of cash with them itself. So and the other problem we had was the dispatch time of our orders were high, very high in the start. So to be able to create an ecosystem, we had installed cash deposit machines in our dark stores. So which naturally made the drivers come near the dark stores to deposit their cash when they were reaching a certain amount. Which made the dispatch time shorter because the drivers were naturally coming near to the dark stores. Because like in our case itself, in Snunu, we have many vendors. We have more than 3,000 vendors in the application itself, where the drivers are catering to the Q-commerce segment as well as the restaurants across Qatar itself. So we had to create an initiative for the drivers to somehow be near our dark stores more regularly to be able to dispatch the orders faster, which significantly decreased the dispatch time of the orders for our dark stores for the Q-commerce vertical.
Yeah, and it's very important to work also with the routes, not only the case which Fatih mentioned, because we also face that especially the drivers who are not regular couriers, they can increase the time of delivery and so on, because they sometimes don't know what to do correctly and so on. So in this case, in the application, it should be very clear how he should go, what is the optimal route. The route should be calculated by the system, not by the courier itself. And he should have all order details, all customer information to find the customer, to give him correctly the order, to understand if he should take the cash, what he should take, what he should give at the rest, and so on. So without control in the app, when the courier is confirming all the steps and see all the information, there could be a mess sometimes, and again the company can lose money, and the customers can lose loyalty to the business. So that's very important. And also, if you're talking just about economical part, we see usually that optimal route planning decrease the costs for delivery for approximately 20%, sometimes even more than 20%. Depend on the case, on the country, but really it's huge money if we calculate some yearly, let's say, results. It's really big money just saved on the correct route planning. Okay, and let's talk one more thing, very important, geo-zoning selecting. So how to divide the orders across the branches, how to find the best, the most efficient location, and so on. Fatih, please share your experience, and I will add also what we can do.
Since we had multiple dark stores across Qatar itself, we had to, like, initially we were just using radial coverage for each dark store, which kind of clashed with each other. So After that, we started using the geozone selecting itself, and which helped us distribute orders better across branches. Because initially, when we first started opening dark stores, of course, some of the dark store orders were getting cannibalized by the new dark store we were opening. And geozone selecting helped us identify the best road accesses for each dark store, which enabled the orders to go through to the right dark store itself. So that's how we use geozone selecting. And the other way we used it is some of our dark stores were not operating 24/7. So we would create different geozones for different timings, which enabled when a certain dark store closed and another dark store was covering that initial zone that the dark store that closed was covering. So we usually utilize to distribute orders across platforms.
Abdul, do you want to ask something? Okay, we have guests, and we will have question and answer session at the end. So please switch off the mics if possible. Okay, so Fatih, good. Thanks for that information. And also, I can add that using the software, it's possible to calculate in, let's say, test mode different possibilities using the historical data. That's also what we can do, because sometimes it's not clear where to open the branch better. But using this, let's say, A and B analysis, using the historical data, the historical orders, it's possible to find the most optimal location. And that really, again, can save a lot of money, because what system compares at the end is money which should be spent on delivery. Okay, so and speed as well. Not only costs, but with speed as well. Okay, and the last but not the least, we will talk about loyalty, the most popular loyalty mechanics, and what is very important for Q-commerce from our point of view. So Fatih, can you share what you did?
Kind of? Yeah, of course. I mean, the most popular loyalty mechanics so we utilized were discounts on products, and we, on a regular basis, we made campaigns to target specific category of products to increase the order value of customers itself. And the other way we used it, I mean, maybe it's a traditional way as well. We used the cashback method to be able to maintain the customers on our platform more. So the way we utilize this mechanic is when the customers were reaching a certain amount of order value, we were giving a percentage of their cash back to their in-app wallet, which maintained the customers on the platform, because it kind of pushed the customers to be able to use that cashback amount in their next order itself. So, I mean, we were pretty traditional. We were using traditional direct discounts on products, buy one, get one free initiatives, as well as the cashback system itself.
Yeah, okay. And I can say that, using the AI behind the loyalty mechanics is very important, because AI can do the segmentation of the customers using all the data, not only the purchases data, and because the customer is searching something, is opening some products, but not buying them and so on. So based on that, we can automatically have the segments, and different mechanics will work for different segments, which then increase the conversion rate, for instance, from push messages, because we can send different proposals and they will be personalized. It also increases the conversion rate from what is shown on the screen, because we can also manage the products on the first and second screen when the customer is scrolling and so on. based on his segment, and the customer will see quicker what is more relevant to him, what he would prefer to buy. And also we can increase the frequency of purchases using that solutions and in general LTV of the customer. So this is a big topic, how to make the settings here, how to play with the data, what could be the mechanics. So not only bonuses, because this part is really influencing on the income, on the effectiveness of Q-commerce. But again, now we are just discussing it very briefly. Please contact us if you're interested in more details. This is my contacts here. I can share with Fatih any requests to him. And colleagues who are present now, if you have any questions, please ask. We will be happy to answer you now online. Or you can write any questions to us later on. Okay, so maybe no questions for now. Let's finish because we are a bit out of time. But we hope that today's information from us was useful, and hope to talk with you next time personally. So again, don't hesitate to contact us. We are open.
Gregory, maybe you want to mention also that next, like we will be doing these webinars, podcasts more regularly, starting from next week with additional new guests as well. So thank you for everything again, and see you next week, hopefully, with our special guests from Qatar Post this time. We will be glad to have you guys back next week.
Yeah, we will talk about e-commerce from the point of view of e-commerce manager from Qatar Post. And that will be interesting, yeah. So see you next time. And yeah, have a nice time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Yeah, guys, if you are still here, so please ask your questions, because we stopped the recording and stopped the webinar itself. But if you want to talk, we can talk. Ahmad and Khalid, if you're interested, please let us know. Okay, so the guys wrote in the chat that thank you. Thank you very much as well. Let us know if you have any questions further. So now we can finish this call. So thank you very much again. And
thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
And have a nice evening. Yeah, bye-bye.